What's up, pals? Camp Flipper Ship, and this is my second video today. I'm gonna go ahead and record a tutorial. I just feel like it's something that is long overdue. I haven't had much tutorials on my channel, and I'm not gonna overproduce this one or anything like that. I'm just gonna make it quite simple for what it is. And basically, it's this trick right here. There's two iterations, but basically it's like going from a fan, choker fan, into this palm fan here. And also there's another version where you can go into the cheat choker into the palm fan. So here's number one that I'm going to teach you. All right, and you can like roll it over or whatever, but there's a lot of different ways to kind of get it. But the first thing is you want to go into a regular fan, not like one of these where you like roll around like that, because you don't really have much control. But you want to do one of these, and the reason why I always focus on this type of fan and I mostly do that type of fan is because this fan is very controllable. There's a lot of factors that you can control when you're doing that type of fan versus this fan here where you like do this. It's not like as like controllable. It's like a little more like random the way it moves, and it's also not as easy to get into and less impressive. So all you got to do to get into that fan is like bring the ballast song to a point where the handles come together and make a T. So like that, you can almost practice by putting your finger right up against the pivot here like this. And when you come down, you come up and then spin it with your bottom finger. So the ones I always use is my, I use mostly my pointer finger and my thumb. But if you're going to practice it this way, you can use your thumb and your middle finger, because even if you didn't have your pointer finger, you can still kind of do a type of rotation. So another way that you can help to get that motion is to just let the ballast song come to a T. You can even put it to a T yourself naturally and just twist it back and forth like this until you can eventually find that spot. And another thing that's important to remember is that the ballast song should stay loose in your hand when you're doing it. So fan, it's loose. Notice how loose it is in my hand. I'll do a zoom of my hand. Ready again. Okay. See how it's spinning in my hand? It's loose, you know? So it has that room to kind of do what it needs to do. If you like the way this Kraken sounds, get a real Kraken and then get you some good oil. I have Odio in this, so yeah. So yeah, I don't know why I just threw that in there. So the second thing you're gonna want to do is you want to finish off in this position. A lot of people do like rev chokers, or like they do their choker fan with the blade pointing out. I don't know how to teach that. I mean, that's not how I ever do mine, and it's just not. It's not the traditional way to do a choker fan. And I know like there's so many variations of the choker fan that it just comes down to like how you like, but I've always learned it this way, with the other handle pointing out. So all that is just getting the fan every time to where it's here. And so you want to just, every time the fan ends in the same position, you might even have to stop it with your hands. You can get to the point to where you feel it do a rotation and you stop it. But all you're doing is doing that. So you fan it into a point where it's now this other handle is almost pointing up or pointing out that way. So either here or here. If it's here, you've gone too far. It has to be either here or here. You know what I'm saying? And if it's here, you've gone too far as well. So you have a window within the point of like from here to like here, I'd say here to here. You want to finish in that general realm. So once you do, you can start the choker fan motion. I have a choker fan tutorial. I'm not going to teach you the entire choker fan right here because you should know it. But I don't know why I taught the entire fan. I mean, hey, I guess I'll teach it. Basically, you're going to roll in between your fingers, and you want to push off and let the momentum of that other handle start the motion. And when you feel that resistance start to happen, when you feel that momentum happen, it's full send from the point that it starts. So you can't just have that momentum and then do with your fingers like that. Here's the motion that would do the choker fan, right? Now here's me losing the momentum and still doing the motion. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know the motion, okay? You have to be able to feel it and really be able to use that motion to your advantage. And once you do, it's a push off with these two fingers here. You're gonna start twisting, and you're just gonna do 1, 2. And once you come to this position, this other finger comes in and finishes it off, okay? So eventually you'll get to the point to where your choker fans always finish off in the same exact position, which is here. You should, I mean, I'll show you right now. I'll finish every choker fan off in that position because that's how the trick should end. And I always talk about this. I talk about it with the choker fan, and I talk about it with when you're doing like when you're doing Z chokers and stuff too. It's the same sort of concept. So there, and you finish here. You want to get to the point where you can just do that consistently, and those are the first two. So the first thing you want to make sure you can do is come here, land here. And then the second thing is make sure you can land here. Because from here, this is where we're gonna take off to the third part of the trick. You're gonna bring your wrist, like almost like imagine you don't have the ballast long. You bring your wrist and do like you're spinning something, like you're rotating your wrist, that little motion. Except when you're at the end of the choker fan, you do it and you just focus on getting tightness between these two fingers, your ring and your middle, and that'll basically keep it tight while you do that motion. So if I didn't have the ballast long in my hand, it would be like this. I know that looks fucking phallic, but yeah, so just like that here, and then you kind of bring it around. And a lot of what's going to help it is using your ring finger, this one right here that's cut on mine, and just pushing it the whole way. So when it comes here, once you get to the top, loud as hell trucks over here, man. But once you get to the top, you want to push and then bring it around. So that's mainly the second step. So first things first, fan, choker fan, push, bring it around. Once you get to this position where it's down here like this, what you're going to do is you're going to roll it over, and it's almost like a little rollover over this middle finger, because you're going to bring it around. So around, and you catch it like this. And it's kind of complicated because it takes a certain amount of feel, but you can almost transfer it in between. It's like a little ladder thing. So you transfer from here to these fingers now. So now to these fingers, and you're gonna let it drop as it comes back, right? This finger's still under, but you bring it over the top and then kick it up for the palm fan. The palm fan is the same as any other fan. You wanna make a T, and the palm fan is actually easier because you can actually like push outward with your hand like that and really give it a lot. Like I don't really do that too often, but if I really wanna milk a palm fan, you can actually push it out and like milk the amount that it's doing. So that's kind of good. But yeah, so here, you're coming around, push, and then when you get to here, remember, you're gonna let it roll around this finger and catch it with the pointer finger. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's like if you were watching it happen from above, it would come around here and then to here. So around that finger to this finger, and then you can actually keep rocking it in the same direction, but you want to let it do an extra little rotation in your hand. And I'll get a slow motion in here because this is one of the more complicated steps. I've never seen somebody do this trick before. I'm not saying I invented it, but it's kind of one of those things where there's no like way that like I can explain it to you where it's been explained before. So here, around like that, and then as it comes here, you remember how this is how it's gonna land naturally between these two fingers like this. What you want to do is use these fingers to push it into your hand, because if you don't, you're going to end up like this, and you can't palm fan like that. You'll have to do an extra rotation, right? If you end like this, it's okay because you can just come like that and do it like that. But ideally, when you're coming off of it, you want to allow, and you can get your thumb involved, but you can also just use these, allow it to rotate to where now the channel is facing your hand and the handle is up like this, making this little shape, and then you kick it up and fan it. So that's the trick right there. And then the other version, somebody has asked me about it before, and it's basically like this. So, and that one I actually learned from trying to replicate Telestro from Blade Bias. And it's not exactly the way he does it, but it does the same exact tricks. It's just he has different form about the way that he likes to do it. So all that one is the same two we talked about before, the fan into the choker. But for this one, you need to know the Balisong flipping style choker to backhand fan, cheat choker to backhand. So here, cheat choker, and then backhand fan. If you don't know that already, then just do the first one that I taught you, or go watch his video on it. But basically it's the same. And once you do the cheat choker, remember, it doesn't come in between these fingers and finish off how the other one does. It just comes to the point to where you get to right here. And once you're here, where the channel's facing outward and where the handle's facing your hand like this, you turn your wrist over and you spin. That's for the backhand. But for this version, you come around, you do it like this, and all you're gonna do is let it rotate a few extra times in your hand. And this one is very hard to master because you have to have a loose grip. You know what I'm saying? You're almost letting the Balisong do what it naturally wants to do. And you can actually, what I do is bring my hand forward to help it rotate like that, and then I bring it backward to help it swing backward, and then bring it forward like that. So if you watch me do the trick real quick, you'll see that forward backward movement. See it? So yeah, so those are the two versions of the ways to do those tricks. It's just a little something that the first one I'm gonna say that I sort of invented, but just meaning that like I came up with it on my own. I didn't look up a trick right there, this one, right? So yeah, and that's it, guys. I'm gonna be having a Helix aerial tutorial pretty soon, so make sure to tune into that. And make sure to subscribe if you're not already, because I am giving away a ballast song later on. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Rock on, y'all.